This marks the fourth part of this manhwa. If you haven't viewed the previous parts, you can access it by clicking the I button located above, or the link is provided in description. Let's aim for 200 likes on today's video. To show your support, consider subscribing to the channel. Let's begin our recap video for today's manhwa. It was quite a chilly night. Hojeong, who appeared at the residence sponsorship, was sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed. Now he is in the final stages of fortune-telling. A cloudy energy came out from the exhaled breath. A little later, as he opened his eyes and thought he had gotten rid of almost all the turbid ki, he lay down on the grass and breathed a sigh of relief. And he thinks it was the Yeon Clan. The innate ki controlling method exactly matches the martial art he witnessed. Depending on each sex ki breathing technique, the innate ki controlling method differs greatly. That's why the heads of the clans strictly manage who the innate ki controlling method is passed down to. And that blade technique, that day they didn't use a spear technique but a blade technique. That's why he didn't recognize it immediately. Then he started trembling as he recalled the memory of how his brother died. He remembered clearly the powerful attack of the attacker who broke his brother's spine 26 years ago. His fist, which had no strength, and trembling. When he remembered that time, he started to gain strength that he didn't have before. For some reason, something stirred in his chest. Even when his backbone was broken and he was on the verge of death, his younger brother did not look at him. This is because he knew that if he looked away, his brother's location could be discovered. And only after the enemy disappeared did his frozen body move. And he fled. He thought the bloody tears were just an exaggeration. There was a time when people laughed at people who shed bloody tears because they were either sick or had injured eyeballs. However, when a person is truly sad, they shed bloody tears. Hojeong was like that. No matter how much he poured out, even after 3 days and nights, the traces of his tears could not be erased. So his resentment was great. At present he thinks he promised he would never leave any regrets ever again. At the moment, Duk Sang approached him and commented, "That's bitter, all the plants near him are dead from his murderous intent." Hojeong whipped his tears and questioned what brings him here. Duk Sang replied, "Nothing much, just this," making Hojeong confused. Duk Sang continued by saying whatever his reason may be, he didn't participate in the party tonight, so he brought this so that they could drink together. How does a drink sound? Hojeong smiled and stated he will pour him first. Then they both started drinking. A little later, Duk Sang stated, "Don't worry about the second young master. He's getting along with the other successors." Hojeong thinks about his brother. Duk Sang stated he could see how unspoiled he was. He has a charm that attracts people, unlike a certain someone who always walks around with a frown. Hojeong laughed and stated of course he's different from him. Duk Sang stated, "Smile more, it's nice to see him smiling." Hojeong replied by saying, "Only if there's a reason to." Duk Sang responded by saying, "Someone as hard as nails only smiles when there's a reason to. He has to smile to make things worth smiling for come about." His talk was interjected by Hojeong saying his arm's about to fall off, so hurry and accept the drink. Duk Sang replied, "What a trickster. He knows how to change the subject." Hojeong stated, "Let him make one request." Duk Sang questioned, "A request from him?" Hojeong exclaimed, "A commission rather than a request." "To the Beggars' Union?" Duk Sang laughed and stated, "Well, that's how they make a living after all. He will find out almost anything for him, so tell him what he wants to know." Hojeong said in that case and stood up from his seat and approached him and whispered near his ear, causing his eyes to widen as he heard his request. A little later, Duk Sang inquired, "Is he being serious?" Hojeong replied, "Yes, he is." Duk Sang stated his first and second requests aren't difficult. However, his third request, investigating that clan. Hojeong turned around while saying, "If it's difficult, he don't have to." Duk Sang shouted, "No, he can. He can do it, but tell him the reason for the request." Hojeong replied by saying he have a total of 3 requests. If he is able to properly dig everything up, he will come to know the reason for the requests. Yangian questioned, "So he wants him to attack?" Hyan replied, "Yes, what's the matter? Can't he do it?" Yangian said he didn't want to shed any blood himself. "Isn't that just indirect murder?" Hyan stated he guessed the saying about the Yeon Tang clan repaying any favor and resentment no matter what was just a groundless rumor. Yangian shouted, "Shut up, or he will tear him to pieces." Hyan exclaimed he will take that as he accepting his offer. He should prepare thoroughly. He will contact him when he leaves. Yangian inquired, "Let him ask you a question. What resentment do he have against him?" Hyan replied he has no such thing. Yangian chuckled and stated even a dog wouldn't believe him. He should say that again after hiding that murderous intent in his eyes. He definitely hates Him extremely, Hyen replied. Bullshit. He should take this opportunity while he can still keep his pride, or he will be chewing on his clothes like a defeated dog otherwise. Yangian stated he told him to shut the fuck up. He was going to do it anyway even if he hadn't asked. Watch and see. He won't return to Sichuan until his hand is covered in his blood. As the gathering of successors came to an end, Hojeong thinks he needs to return as quickly as possible. He has lots of things to do. Since he found out the villain's identity, he can't be idling around. He needs to increase his martial art realm and reorganize the clan's forces. He hopes the Beggar Union's successor will manage to find the information he requested. He recalled the memory when he said to Duk Sang, "Is he going to leave already?" Duk Sang replied by saying it's better to strike the iron while it's hot. If he wants to complete his requests, he has to dispatch the beggars for the investigation tonight, and even that won't be enough. Hojeong inquired, shall he give the payment to the Beggar Union's contact in his clan? Duk Sang replied he doesn't need it. Prepare lots of delicious food for him instead. In the present, Hojeong smiled and thought he will succeed. He believes in him. Daeho questioned Mr. Hojeong and Jipyeong, are they already leaving? Hojeong stated they shall see each other again if fate guides them. Daeho, while sniffing, remarked that's so sad. They haven't even drunk together yet. Manhwa laughed and stated Jipyeong worked hard yesterday because he had to distribute the liquor in his stead. Jipyeong said goodbye to them. At the moment, Hyen approached Hojeong and inquired, is he leaving already? Why don't he have lunch with them before he leaves? Hojeong replied by saying he refused. They're leaving in a different direction from the Jegal clan anyway. And he turned towards June and asked him if he should come to Jiangsu to play at some point. He will guide him around. Hyen shouted, what about her? Hojeong replied, same goes for her. She asked why did he hesitate just now, then she gave him a wooden tablet. Hojeong questioned, what's this? She explained it's the bright wet tablet from the Jegal clan. They have recently started some business related to weaponry. The company is located southeast of Anhui. The map is included so he should visit it when he has a chance. Hojeong inquired why is she giving this to him. She stated spear and staff arts aren't his best martial arts. She doesn't know what his main weapon is, but he can go there when he has some spare time. They said something like the weapons they purchased in the summer were some high-quality goods. Hojeong thanked her for doing this when they aren't even from the same clan. She replied, not at all. It was thanks to him that the Jegal clan's first daughter and first son managed to survive. Even their father will say that this trade is profitable for them. A little bit later they departed by saying their goodbyes and moved away. Hyen remarked he left without even looking back. At the moment Yanhwa approached her and stated he was so amazing, wasn't he? Hyen asked if she was here too. Yanhwa continued by saying she only saw him for a few days, but she thinks she understands how the Green Mountain Yeon Clan became one of the 7 great clans in such a short period of time. Hyen replied she knew that. Meanwhile, Yanhwa thinks they will see him again soon enough, right? When they get to see each other again. She wonders what kind of relationship they will have. Trustworthy allies or an enemy that has to be defeated. As Hojeong and Jipyeong leave, Hyen observes them and with flustered expression, he stated he can't stand the sight of him. He orders the guard to tell the guy from the Tang clan, their target is leaving right now. The guard replied by saying, as you order, young master. Meanwhile at the Green Mountain Yeon Clan, in the Patriarch's study, the general administrator knocks on the door and then enters the room and stated, the news said that the young masters are returning to the clan. The Patriarch replied by saying, I see, and he gives the Patriarch a letter saying the Yeon Clan sent this. The Patriarch confirmed it with him and thinks they aren't exactly related to the Yeon Clan in any way. Why did they send them a letter? As he read the content in the letter, the Patriarch became surprised and thinks, what is this? They want them to combine forces between the 2 clans? At the Yeon Clan's Patriarch office, Sword God Yeon Gun is writing something, as a sparrow moves towards him and dips its legs in the ink and starts walking on the paper on which he is writing. He angrily glared at the sparrow, and then he did not react at all as the sparrow walked near his hand. He grabbed the sparrow and continued with his writing. Green Mountain Yeon Clan Patriarch's study. The Patriarch considers a business proposal. So even the Yeon Clan is going to try trading? 300 years ago, after the Blood Religion disaster, the Yeon Clan moved from Liaoning Province to the middle of the Central District in Hunan Province. Since they settled on land, he thought they wouldn't be interested in trading via the sea. After a little while of thinking, he stated, as expected, this won't do. General Taekyung, please prepare paper, a writing brush and ink. Taekyung replied, yes sir. A little later he opened the window and looked outside. He thought the weather's quite cold. He wondered if they're traveling without much trouble. Meanwhile Hojeong and Shinmo are standing while other members of the Blue Operations Squad including Jipyeong are gasping for breath. Jipyeong sighed and stated it's hot. Hojeong turned around and asked is he okay? Jipyeong replied by saying no, it's even harder because of his hangover, since they ran all the way from Hefei. But his talk was interrupted as Shinmo noticed the Blue Operation Squad and shouted, what are they all doing? Organize their ranks properly. Hojeong turned towards him and said, so their stamina is weak. At this rate will they even be deserving of the name Blue Operation Squad? Shinmo glanced towards them in anger while saying the Blue Operation Squad will prepare for additional special training upon returning. Hojeong stated squad leader Shin stay here. He will go find something to eat. Shinmo replied by saying young master, he should go. A little later as Hojeong approached a tavern, opening the door, and he see inside and think no one is here. At that moment he heard a noise from the kitchen and moved towards it. As he lifted the curtain, he asked are they open? The person replied yes. Hojeong stated he did like food and water for about 30 people. While trembling the person replied so the thing is. But someone interrupted his talk saying look here. Hojeong turned around only to find out that the person was Yangian from the Tang clan. Yangian stated long time no see? Has it been 2 days? Hojeong smiled as looked towards him while Yangian asked him is he shocked? Hojeong stated he thought he pissed himself just looking at him. Was losing an arm not enough? Yangian laughed as well and remarked he is a crazy bastard. His barking ends here. As he lifted his hand, purple smoke surrounded Hojeong, making him confused. But Yangian confidently stated he has already inflicted him, you idiot. Have he heard of the shadow poison? Hojeong questioned shadow poison. Yangian laughed and stated since it's colorless and odorless, he wouldn't have known about it even in his dreams. To be fair, a trash like him wouldn't even be able to notice it. His talk was interrupted as Hojeong rushed forward and landed a hit in his stomach, causing him to crash to the floor and vomit. And he thought how is he standing? He definitely used the Three Suns poison energy. The amount of the Three Suns poison energy was enough to activate the shadow poison, and some would still be left over. At that moment Hojeong moved towards him and stepped on his broken arm forcefully, causing him to scream in pain. Hearing Yangian screaming, Hojeong quickly shouted don't hurt him, and he rushed towards him as jumped over the railing in one go with Red Spider Squad members and come down to the first floor, and he stated stop right this instant. But Hojeong replied by saying what if he don't stop, while placing his foot on the neck of Yangian. Hojeong stated he dares to take the young master hostage, while gritting his teeth in anger. Hojeong pointed towards him and remarked, you step forward. If you don't want to see this bastard's neck snap. Hojeong moved forward as he was face to face with Hojeong. He thought that if he could quickly kill Hojeong, he should be able to save the young master. But at that moment he was slapped by Hojeong, and he asked what do he think he is doing? Don't even think about doing anything ridiculous. Hurry and give him what he have in his hand. Hojeong thought he wants this steel whip. Hojeong stated hurry up and struck the leg of Yangian, causing him to scream in pain. Then Hojeong quickly moved forward and handed him his steel whip. Hojeong thought let's try it as he swung the steel whip. Noticing that 2 of the Red Spider Squad members captured Hojeong and run back to safety while other members prepared to attack. They rushed from all directions to attack him. Meanwhile Hojeong warned them and tried to stop, but they didn't listen to him. As they approached Hojeong, he used the steel whip and dispatched one after another in an instant. Seeing this, Hojeong's eyes widened and he thought what the hell did he just watch? Hojeong retracted the steel whip and think he had overdone it. If it were the chain of the Tempest Axe, small fry of this level would have been taken care of with no problem. He guessed he would have to find another chain and attach it. Then he turned his back towards Hojeong and threw the steel whip. Hojeong became angry at him and thought this bastard, he dares to disrespect him, and rushing towards him to attack with his palm. But Hojeong grabbed Yangian and threw him towards Hojeong, causing him to be hit by his attack. Yangian crashed to the ground in pain, and Hojeong quickly moved towards him in worry and asked if he was okay. Meanwhile Yangian questioned why he did that. Hojeong approached him and stated, he wondered what the patriarch of the Tang clan will do, especially since he told him to protect his son, but he ended up injuring him. Recalling the patriarch's anger, Hojeong started trembling in fear. Hojeong stated, look here, do he want to live? If he want to live, answer his question. He can do that, right? He angrily asked where is his answer. And then Hojeong sat on the floor and stated this place is quite far away from Hefei. They got here after running non-stop for 2 days and only managed to come here through one of the many connected roads. It's strange, right? You who are native to Sichuan. How did they know that they would take this road and stop here? Let's not make things too difficult for themselves. Who told them that they were heading this way? A little later as Shinmo was discussing something with a Blue Operation Squad member, he turned around after hearing a noise. His eyes widened in shock as he saw blood splattered throughout on Hojeong. He immediately shouted in worry, "Young master," but Hojeong replied by asking did he keep them waiting? Shinmo inquired what happened to his clothes. "Isn't that blood?" Hearing that, all of the members turned towards him. Hojeong replied it's not his blood, so don't mind it. He took care of everything already. And he said to Jipyeong get some food before he sleep. Shinmo stated it seems like he punished them himself. Hojeong replied by saying he didn't kill them, he might have kind of turned them into vegetables. And he even took further measures. Sometimes an unfounded rumor is stronger than the sword. At the Namgung Clan a carriage entered, and the guard announced, "Young master, Namgung Hyeon has arrived." Seeing him, people started whispering. Seeing their behavior, he thinks what's with this atmosphere. A little later he entered the patriarch's room exclaiming he have returned father. He became surprised as he saw a lot of paper floating around, and his father is painting something on the paper one after another. As he picked up one of the papers and see an orchid draw on it, he thinks he remember when father paints orchids, he does so to calm himself down when he's angry. His father asked him is it true? Hyeon questioned what is he talking about. Father stated did he use the blade of another to attempt murder? What he mean to say is, are the rumors about he ordering the eldest son of the Tang clan to kill the young master of the Yeon clan true? Father continued by saying he did think he did at least keep his name from being revealed. Was he wrong? Hyeon respectfully bowed down and apologized. Father commented even when Sanghwa got hurt he didn't waver at all. But someone like him made such an absurd mistake? What would the reason be? Option 1 there was something that shook his composure. Option 2 Yeon Hojeong was better than he expected. Or both of them. Hyeon became frightened and cold sweat dripped down from his face. Father inquired did he like the eldest daughter of the Jegal clan that much? Hyeon stated father he didn't have any excuse. Father stated the only time a man becomes weak is when he is caught up in love. The moment he falls in love, he loses his composure and makes a mess of things. Just like how he is right now. He has sent a hawk to the Jegal clan. Hyeon asked what the purpose of that. Father remarked he is the great Namgung clan's son. He is more than good enough for someone like the daughter of the Jegal clan. Hyeon was about to say something but his father interrupted him saying don't kid himself. What he is saying is that he should not take her as his wife, but as a grinding stone to sharpen his composure. Hyeon thanked his father for his generosity, and stated he lost to him once but he will never lose twice. Father replied by saying that's his boy now rest, and he thought he should settle things with the Green Mountain Yeon clan. 20 days later at Green Mountain Yeon clan, Hojeong remarked they have returned, followed by Jipyeong who looked tired and he also stated they have returned father. Father became surprised and didn't say anything for a little while. Then he coughed and replied by saying welcome and ordered Jipyeong go get some rest. Jipyeong stated thank you father, he can finally rest now. Father ordered the servant to pour something to drink. Hojeong picked up the glass and drank it in one go. The servant became surprised at the behavior. As he left the room, the patriarch asked him why is he in that state. Hojeong replied he did some training on the way. His father inquired what kind of training could it have been. Hojeong stated it was nothing much. He only ran sprinting for 7 to 8 minutes. Once that was over he jogged lightly. And from then on he increased the time he sprinted by 8 minutes every day. Father questioned he did that with Jipyeong while coming here? Hojeong replied by no. Father asked then with who? Hojeong replied he did it with the Blue Operations Squad including squad leader Shin. Father thinks he did it with all those people for 20 days straight, and asked did he not overdo it? Hojeong replied no this is only the start. Father questioned what he meant by only the start. Hojeong explained the start of achieving the peak of martial arts, since even after dedicating his entire life to reaching it, it'd still not be certain. Father thinks I see. That's what it was. His son changed from that day onwards, from his son to an adult. Father stated he heard that there were quite a few toxic interactions with the Namgung clan. Hojeong replied don't even get him started. He will explain it right from the beginning of it. A little later as he explains what had happened, his father stated so the second young master of the Namgung clan did that. Hojeong agreed. He became shocked as he saw his father's face and thought, it's the first time seeing those eyes on father. Father stated so that is what happened. Hojeong said sorry he didn't get what he's saying. Father remarked the Namgung clan's patriarch apologized. Namgung Sanghwa also confessed to what she did. Hojeong thinks the Namgung clan did that? Then that means. Father questioned do he understand what's going on. Hojeong commented he abandoned his daughter so that his son could save face. They dismissed her trying to kill him as a personal grudge that has nothing to do with the family. The patriarch of the Namgung Clan is a sly snake. Father remarked, that's right. Hojeong stated the Namgung Clan's ways are surprising. Father thinks if he noticed that, then his insight must be great as expected, and Father questioned, that's right. Do he think they should accept the apology? Hojeong responded by saying the martial artist's life will always be in danger. He is fine with it. It'll be more advantageous for them to receive the apology and increase their reputation. Father remarked, all right, he understands. He must be tired, so go and get some rest. Hojeong replied, yes, Father, as he ordered. As he was about to leave the room, Father called his name. He turned around saying, yes, Father? Father remarked he did well. His eyes widened in surprise, and then he closed his eyes and stated it was nothing special. The next morning he put on some weight around his waist, arms and legs, and he stated, let's begin. And he started sprinting. After 1 month of training, after 2 months of training, and after 4 months of training, on the night of New Year's Eve, he continued with his training. On the first day of the new year, he untied the weights from his body and breathed out a sigh of relief, and he stated he have finally gotten somewhere. He is prepared to face the villain. A little later, as Hojeong read the letter with a smile that is sent by Duk Sang, saying he had completed investigating all 3 of his requests. It was way harder than he expected. He probably knew that though. He almost died shitting. Accepting the request without hesitating, he almost made him lose all the money that he had gathered from begging. And now he thinks he should have just taken the commission fee. He will come find him in half a month, so prepare some delicious food for him. If it doesn't suit his tastes, he is going to throw a fit. Hojeong thinks he specifically said he'd come meet him. The fact that he'd come all the way and meet him just to convey something that could have been delivered with a letter means that there are 2 options. The information is so sensitive that it would be really bad if it got leaked, or there's lots for him to tell me. After getting all the information, it'll finally be his time to start taking real action. At that moment his father approached him, as he noticed, and he turned around. Father inquired, have he finished today's training? Hojeong replied, yes, Father. Father stated he have something to do with him, so follow him. Hojeong asked, right now? And Father didn't respond. He thinks, did he do something wrong? Recently all he have been doing is training. A little later Hojeong thinks this place is in the forest where they talked about the true Azure innate key. Father turned around and asked him to take one of them while pointing towards different weapons. Seeing the weapon in front of him, he thinks that means a spar with his father, and he inquired, is he going to face him seriously? Father stated yes, he spar with him seriously. If he wasn't, he would not have brought him here. Then Hojeong selected a spear from the weapons. Seeing him wielding a spear, his father expression became serious. Then Father unsheathed his sword, and a blue key enveloped his father. Seeing that Hojeong thinks the devoted sword's thoughtful key, and the king's 8 children's sword technique, he's serious. He is getting excited. His thoughts were interrupted as his father stated, before they start, do he know why he wanted to watch his martial arts today? Hojeong replied, isn't it to see his child's growth? Father commented, that is right, but there's another more definite reason. Hojeong asked, what is it? Father remarked he will tell him after the spar. Hojeong agreed. Then both positioned themselves in the fighting stance, and blue key emitted from both of them. Hojeong rushed to attack him with his spear, but his father's sword strike caused him to be pushed backwards. He thinks the father blocked that attack easily, then that means he needs to launch an even stronger attack. Then both exchanged strikes with each other for a little while. Then Hojeong rushed to use Yeon Clan Flying Swallowtail Palm technique. In response, his father dropped his sword and used the reverse dragon palm technique. A blue light explosion happened as their palms clashed. A little later Father remarked he is impressive. Hojeong replied by saying that's what he wishes to say to him. Then his father closed his eyes and focused, and exclaimed, in that case what about this? Hojeong thinks no way, that stance its single steadfast bullet sword technique. Their strikes caused the nearby area of the forest to be destroyed. Then his father launched a single steadfast bullet sword attack that he barely able to dodge in time. His father took advantage of the situation and rushed towards him to attack, but Hojeong released more of his ki and enveloped himself with it. Both ran towards each other to attack. Then his father noticed that Hojeong had gathered his ki in his spear as he rushed forward to attack him. This marks the conclusion of the 4th part of this manhwa. The 5th part will be uploaded after there were at least 3 to 4 chapters of this manhwa released, so remember to like and subscribe to the channel for future update. Leave comments to share your experience. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.